Hello, fabulous Taurus. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of December 2014, Love Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This month, there is really so much indication of a major turning point taking place for you where it comes to love. And that's mainly because of your ruling planet, Venus, goddess of love, moving through a part of the sky that has to do with vision for you. And normally this would be a very harmonious placement for you. And I do think that for the most part, the choices you make, the understandings that you have are going to lead you in a direction of greater harmony. However, what's also happening here this month is that your ruling planet will be meeting Pluto in this very same part of the sky that has to do with vision. Now, this happens about once every year. What is unique about what's taking place now and what has been taking place over the course of the last couple of years is that as Venus meets Pluto, Venus will also speak to Uranus, part of activating this rare generation-defining conversation that we're having called the Uranus-Pluto square. So, your ruling planet, goddess of love, moving through a part of the sky, very harmonious to you, and really being activated by some very important power players in the sky. And this to me just speaks to you having a much clearer understanding of where you are right now in love and why, and what is it that needs to change if you are going to move towards a higher vision that you have for love, and if you are going to move in that direction that allows you to feel that you are bringing into alignment what it is ultimately that you most aspire to where it comes to love, and how you're going to actually manifest that. So what is it that needs to happen today so that you get to manifest the great love that something inside you knows that you deserve? If you are in an established bond, I mean, this to me is truth-telling time. That's really what it comes down to. This is you being honest mainly with yourself, but also with each other as well. And there's an element here of you seeing a truth, but I personally do think, given the harmonious position of Venus, I personally think that this is going to be a truth that actually works very well for your relationship. I don't see huge markers here. I mean, unless you've really been going along in a dynamic that ultimately is very superficial or superfluous, this is actually going to play out quite well. I think you're going to understand your own part in anything that's been troubling you and taking ownership for that, understanding what needs to change within you, what maybe in the past you need to let go of, what maybe you need to forgive, if you are going to move towards a stronger bond. But ultimately, I see this particular sky as setting the record straight, regardless of your relationship status, but especially if you're in a relationship, an established bond. This is about you really understanding what is at the root of your connection to this person and affirming that. But it's also about letting go of any misunderstandings or ultimately what might not have been true, what just was getting in the way of a deeper bond with this person. Now you identify it and are able to release it. So ultimately, really positive and really good. Only not so good if you haven't been honest with yourself, if you've really had your head in the sand. And if that's the case, I think you kind of know it. I think you kind of feel it already. But again, I don't think that's the case for the vast majority of Taurians out there in an established relationship. Those of you who are dating somebody, so you've got somebody in your sphere, you're dating them. I do think that this month is also for all Taurians, it's going to be about being honest in love. But this month also is going to speak to an understanding that who is this person really, and do they match where it is that I most desire to go, or do they not? And I think that the answers might actually surprise you. I think that what you may find is that you may have told yourself that, I don't know about this person might not actually fit. And then you realize it isn't that the other person doesn't fit, it's you. It's you that has certain beliefs about yourself and your own worth that is setting the tone for the ultimate direction of this, and that there may actually be a lot of potential here. But ultimately, because the big word in love for this month is truth-telling time, being honest with yourself time. These are the big themes. It's about honesty, and it's about letting go of what doesn't matter. If you are in a bond that really has not had any substance, that's really not going to work for you, and you're going to make a choice to make a change. But for most of you out there, I do think you're going to start to see what it is ultimately that's holding you with this person, what keeps you interested, what keeps you wanting to learn more about this person, and that ultimately could lead you in a really good direction. But there is going to be a need for both of you in some way to be very honest with each other about exactly what has been and why and where it is now that you most desire to go, and see if those visions line up. Now allow that to come about naturally, okay? There's no need to push it or try to make it happen, try to make a moment happen. Let it happen in its own time and to manifest with ease, and you will find that the answers that come forth are going to feel right to you. It will be a truth that you are more than ready for. Those of you not currently in an established bond, I see this month as being important on a few different levels. Now, one is the fact that, and I have to say to love as well, this month, at the very end of this month, Saturn will leave your opposite sign. So regardless of your relationship status, I did record Saturn special horoscopes. They should be up at the time of this publication as well. So I would encourage you to have a look at that to get a more fuller picture of what starts to change. But that's a bit more of a longer trend. I do think that, especially for those single Taurians out there, you've been spending the better part of the last 3 years looking at yourself, or rather the last 2 years, just over the last 2 years, looking at yourself, looking at the barriers within you that get in the way of a more significant love, and what there needs to heal so that you can experience greater love than you've known before. So you have been encouraged by a very loving universe to actually do that work. And you have been actually, some Taurians kicking and screaming, some Taurians with ease and grace and openness, but each Taurian in some way has been asked to consider love, where they are in love, and how they can move towards greater love. And so, of course, you being a Taurian have been on that path as well. This is a month where it's very seal the deal type of thing. And what I mean by that is, a lot of the learning that you've been going through really starts to come together for you, where you understand a lot more deeply and are able to be a lot more honest with yourself about where you've been in love, where you are now, and why it is that you are where you are. That profound honesty that takes place for you this month really can just change the trajectory of your experience in love. And I do think that for a lot of single Taurians out there, you are going to identify one thing, whether it's a belief or an action, one thing that you do that gets in the way of you having the type of partnership that you truly want to experience. And so where it is that you've been getting in the way of yourself, you're going to be honest with yourself. And as you eliminate that barrier, you are going to find love has a much easier way of flowing towards you. What I love about this month, as I said, it's all about the truth. And the truth really has a transformative power. It is an alchemical process, the truth. Allow it to come forward and trust it. Trust that it will move you in a direction that you like very much, because it certainly will.